Good evening, everybody. Dr. Jeremy here with Experience Wellness Chiropractic. I'm going to give some people a few minutes as we've been promoting this the last couple days to start at 8:30. We're going to get rocking with our Stir Crazy webinar tonight, and I really want to focus on giving some strategies and on some ideas on how to calm this noisy brain that we're starting to see with so many kids and so many parents. This isn't just an issue that we're seeing with kids. This isn't just an issue with ADD, ADHD, and sensory. This is like a long, cold winter, this perception of a longer, colder winter than normal. Obviously it is March and it's been, 15 below zero last weekend when we woke up. But I want to give you guys some strategies on how to handle the chaos of being stuck inside and the unpredictability of snow days in school, schools that are closed as we look at another snowstorm coming in this weekend. And the big picture to start with is it really a long, cold winter? Are we really stuck inside, or is it a perception and a choice? Because the number one thing that we try to do in our family is live by a philosophy that there's no such thing as bad weather. There's only bad dress and there's only bad preparation. So even when it gets cold outside, even when there's a lot of snow that starts to fall, are you prepared to get outside? Are you prepared to be out in it? Are you prepared to take advantage of it and really teach the lessons to your kids about bundling up, getting outside and enjoying it, even if it's just for 10 minutes. That 10 minutes of fresh air, that 10 minutes can really make all the difference. So when we start to look big picture at what it means to be going stir crazy and what it means to be feeling cooped up and to be feeling kind of trapped and feeling overwhelmed and feeling like the chaos is really building, is one key word that we love to use at EWC all the time is adaptability. Is how well is your body, how well are your brains, your kids' brains ready to adapt to the situations that are coming at you? How well are you ready to adapt to change? How well are you ready to adapt to transitions? As a parent, how well are you set up to adapt to the fact that maybe school's closing tomorrow, or maybe you had plans for the weekend and you're going to be shut in because it's a snowstorm and you can't leave your house? Adaptability truly is the key. And all winter long in our office, we've been hearing these amazing success stories of kids that are dealing with better transitions in school, kids that are dealing with better social situations, better emotional control, less meltdowns, less freakouts, less sensory issues, less issues with noise, all of these different amazing changes, saying that they're becoming more and more adaptable. We're hearing stories with parents, with moms saying they're getting better sleep, they're feeling more recharged, they can handle stress better. We even had a dad put on his progress evaluation form that he's able to handle the chaos of his kids better. He's less temperamental, he's less reactive to the stress of his kids, all because they're under chiropractic care. So before we get into any of the other strategies, the number one strategy for anyone and everyone is to make sure that your nervous system is highly adaptable. We're just gonna cut right to the point that chiropractic is essential in making sure that your nervous system is free-flowing and that your brain and body are adaptable to incoming information. Because what is the role of your nervous system? First and foremost, your nervous system, the job of your nervous system is to perceive the environment, right? The nervous system's job is to perceive everything that's happening around it through all of your different senses, through everything coming in. Your brain has to make sense of what's going on and then coordinate a proper response. So ultimately, all day long, you have this two-way street of information coming in and out of your brain that has to be working properly, right? We have to have this input that comes in unimpeded. Your brain has to make sense of information, and then it has to basically make a proper response to what's going on around it. Not just a best guess because it's not really understanding what's happening. In our world, in the world of chiropractic, we call that subluxation. We call that interference to the messaging in your nervous system. We call that subluxation. And we call it living in a subluxated state. So if your body's living in a subluxated state, you are the opposite of adaptable. You're stuck. Your system is stuck in a pattern. You're stuck in a rut. You're unable to kind of get out of it and get the energy and the momentum that you want to take on your day. one of my favorite analogies to think about when we deal with this. All right, we're getting some thumbs up. I love it. If you relate to this, give us some thumbs up. If you have questions, let me know as well. I'm seeing some people hopping on here tonight too. But one of my favorite analogies is just, it's so simple, but think of a 5-gallon bucket, all right? And if your body is like a 5-gallon bucket, the reality is you can only hold 5 gallons, right? So a 5-gallon bucket can only hold 5 gallons. And the more you put into it, the less room you have to hold more, essentially, right? So if you just continue to add, a gallon at a time, and you don't have any way of getting rid of what's already in your bucket, eventually you're going to overflow. And so our bodies can only handle and our bodies can only manage a certain amount of stress and a certain amount of input at any given time before we overflow. And so when our nervous system can't handle the amount of stress that's coming at us, when we're starting to perceive too much coming in from the outside world, maybe because we're already living in this stressed, subluxated state from the inside, if our bodies are already stressed on the inside, 3/4 of the way full, we've only got, a 1/4 of the way until we start to overflow. When we start to overflow in chaos, when we start to overflow with overwhelm, and we start to overflow with the inability to adapt to, the needs of our kids or the needs of our spouse or the needs of our job or the needs of our own health and our own self-care. So start to think of yourself and your kids as these little buckets of stress, and how much can they handle, and what is the outlet that you have. Chiropractic is the #1 way that I have ever found to immediately reduce stress from a system, because it has the ability to take a system that's stuck in fight or flight, that's stuck in that's stuck in a sympathetic response all the way on one side. It's like stuck in survival mode. And with the lightest adjustment to the right place at the right time, all of a sudden you get this immediate, just like, this brake pedal effect that's basically like opening the spigot on the bottom of a bucket and just like letting the stress out. And when you can just let the stress out, now all of a sudden you have so much more capacity to handle more. So once your system is highly adaptable, you've got a nervous system that's adaptable to stress, you've got a nervous system that's ready for more input. Now you can go and you can handle your day. Now you can go out and you can conquer all of these transitions and the chaos of life and the chaos of being cooped up and the chaos of everything else that's being thrown at you, because your system is adaptable to do it. I was just chatting with my amazing wife before I'm on tonight, to just get some ideas from her. She's an early childhood special ed teacher, so literally she lives in this world of managing chaos, right? Her entire world is 3 to 5 year olds, mostly dealing with autism spectrum disorders and things of that nature, where it's pretty chaotic all day long, and it's really about managing input. It's about managing the amount of stress and exposure that a lot of these kids have. How do we start to, what's the best plan, right? What's the best way to start to manage being going stir crazy and being overwhelmed with everything that's happening? And what we were talking about was simply having this set plan kind of on the side, this like almost like a book of ideas that you can go to. You can go, all right, we're stuck inside because the polar vortex strikes again, right? Or we're going to be stuck inside this weekend because we're supposed to be getting hit with 5 to 10 inches of really wet, kind of nasty snow. Well, we've got this kind of playbook over here sitting that you don't have all the time, that you don't use all the time. It's almost like your trick plays that come out if you're an athlete, right? You've got the Philly special, which was used in the Super Bowl last year, right? It's like, all right, so what have the kids not done for quite a while? What are kind of some things that maybe they used to play with a lot, or they used to do that you've put away and they don't have access to all the time? Because sometimes it's as simple as it's re-stimulating with something old. So that was the #1 thing that we talked about, was just having a book of ideas, or having just this playbook off to the side that you can dip into, that goes, all right, maybe it's arts and crafts. And I'll be really honest, Pinterest is awesome for this, like stay-at-home arts and crafts. It's super simple stuff. that sometimes can take, you know, a good amount of time because there's prep work and then there's crafts and then there's cleanup. So if we're just looking at, God, how can we kill some time and keep the kids entertained so they're not like at each other all day long and fighting or whatever else, it's how do we keep them engaged in arts and crafts, and, you know, getting resourceful with how we're getting that information. Another thing that we love to do at our house when we can't get outside and we can't be you know, doing normal things is cooking. Engaging the kids and actually, you know, picking out recipes and, you know, cooking something that they want to do and cooking healthy things. And it's all of a sudden you get to start to introduce more life lessons in that as well. And it's like, how do we introduce healthy foods? And one of my favorite ways of getting kids to eat healthier is to engage them in the process of cooking healthier foods, because there's a sense of pride. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how old you are, there's a sense of pride and accomplishment when you take part in something and you have a hand in it. And so I've always found that kids do better with eating different foods and trying new foods when they have a hand in actually cooking in the preparation process. We're big fans of letting our kids kind of have a little bit of extra freedom. We're a Montessori family, so we have, you know, little, you know, utensils. We actually have little knives, and we let our kids use knives at, you know, 3 and 4 years old, obviously supervised so that it's safe, but making sure that they have things that they can, you know, that they can work with, that they're safe to work with in our home environment, so that they can take like an immense amount of pride. And then all of a sudden, you know, you kind of get lost in that process, because then it becomes really, really just a whole lot of fun. And then so many families, that what I see all too often is just this reverting to technology, because it's kind of an easy thing, and you know, the kids like it, they're quiet, it's taken care of. But we in our house, we are not completely void of technology. It's not like we don't own a TV, but what we do is we use technology, and we use those kinds of things as a reward. So it's once you've gotten through, maybe we've cooked everything, and it's, you know, maybe, you know, things are cooling down, or it's time to eat. You know, maybe they'll get a little cartoon show on Netflix or something as a reward as they get to wind down before quiet time. But it's more the exception to the rule, you know, than it is the rule. It's like, oh, it's a snow day, or oh, it's cold out, or oh, we have time. Let's just default to a show because it can keeps them quiet and keeps them busy. No, it's that should be a reward, so that it becomes something that they can look forward to, but it isn't an expectation. When it becomes an expectation, that's when we run into trouble. I'm trying to look behind here. I got some notes on the whiteboard behind me. Oh, the last thing that I really want to touch on tonight is how do you bring calm? How do you bring calm into a system from the beginning of the day all the way to the end of the day? We're constantly, you know, reading articles and things that come up, and my wife brought something up the other day that was super interesting to me, and actually kind of enlightening, because it's something that we really focus on and we really already do. But it was the 3 most important touch points of your day to have with your kids, to kind of just start the day with a calm, loving environment, and to kind of have it throughout the day. And it was said that the 3 most important parts of the day for interaction with your kids to create bonding and create calm was the first 3 minutes after they wake up in the morning, the first 3 minutes after they get home from school, or maybe you pick up from daycare, and then the last 3 minutes before they go to bed. It's right when when your brain is waking up in the morning, if they're with you and they're being encouraged, and you can talk about, you can immediately engage them and talk about their day. They can have maybe some choices in making, what they're going to have for breakfast, or what they're going to get dressed with, or simply just a big hug and embrace, so that they know that they're safe and that they're comforted, can go a long way. I absolutely love on the days that I get to be home when my kindergartner gets off the bus, because he just has this pride in what he accomplished that day. And so immediately taking the time, right when he gets off the bus, for a healthy snack and to sit and chat about what were his absolute favorite parts of the day and what were some struggles that he had during the day. I like to get into that too, because it gives you some more insight into maybe some of the social stuff that's happening in their world, and some of the successes that they're having. And then at night before they go to bed, that last 3 minutes, We make it a point in our household to lay with our kids before bed, or do everything we can to, if it's not just one of us home trying to manage and corral all three of them. But if we're home, we really like to take one at a time and lay with them before bed. And one of the things we do before bed is we talk about our three most favorite things that happen during the day. And we say our three most favorite things to them, and then they say their three most favorite things back to us. And it really just becomes this grounding, this grounding experience with joy and comfort, and getting them really to start to reflect on all the great things that are happening in their little lives. They're 3 and 4, 5, 6 years old, whatever these kids are. Ours personally, we've got 6, 3.5, and 1. So our 6 and 3.5-year-old, you just see them kind of smile and light up before they go to bed at night. It's not just rewarding for them; it's hugely rewarding for us too. And so it's wonderful way of kind of sandwiching your whole day of deep connection with your kids, and you'll start to notice that starts to kind of bring that tension down altogether when you can start your day with kind of just this calm connection. When they get off the bus and you have a calm connection, and then you end your night with calm connection, it really starts to change the dynamic within the family when we're talking about stress and we're talking about overwhelm within the whole family. And you'd be surprised at how much it can calm you down too, when you don't start your day reactive, and you don't start your day kind of in that fight or flight survival mode right off the bat, because you get to just take a minute and enjoy that connection as well. So, thanks, Pete, all the way from Florida. I miss you, brother. So yeah, if you have questions, let me know. Obviously, I said I started this with the most important thing, and that's making sure that your kids are being checked by a chiropractor, that you're being checked by a chiropractor, so that your system, your nervous system is highly adaptable, that you're open to the input, the perception of what's going on around you. Your brain and nervous system can make a proper response and adaptation to everything that's going on, that you can be absolutely living your best life, most connected life, and really living to your potential. So if there's anything we can do to help you out, if there's anything that we at Experience Wellness can do for you, let us know. Leave some questions on here. We'll be engaging on here as much as we need to make sure that you guys feel loved and supported in raising your healthy families. And if you're going stir crazy this weekend, come back to this video. There's some hopefully some good ideas in here on how to just engage on a deeper level with your family, and just bring the calm to the whole family dynamic. So I love connecting with you guys. Let me know if you have any questions on how we can serve you better. Oh, I want to make sure we point out this Saturday, right after the shift at noon, we have someone coming from Ace Brain Fitness to come and do a workshop on brain exercises with kids. Any ages from 5 until 18, he's going to have a little workshop station set up throughout the office on how to re-engage your brain for kids, and obviously adults too. We want you there for supervision to take part in, so you know what they're learning. But it's going to be a blast on learning different brain activities to enhance memory and to enhance focus, and really connect everything back into from their brain body experience. So that's at our office at Experience Wellness at noon this coming Saturday, right after the morning shift. Let us know on here if you're interested. We'll send you a link and we'll get you registered. But yeah, we want to fill the house with a bunch of kids, so that Ace Brain Fitness can really start to enlighten you on how to do some more things to reconnect and increase focus in your kids and in your life. So thank you for being on tonight. Thank you for the connection, and we'll talk soon.